Cinco de Mayo is not an important day in Mexico. It is the Battle of Puebla, because the French wanted to stay in Mexico and start a monarchy after the English and Spanish didn't succeed. Mexico then pushed back against it by battling with the French and won the battle after 5 years of political resistance, and it is something that is celebrated almost exclusively in Puebla, and for whatever reason all of the United States.
Not to say it was an irrelevant moment in Mexican history, but while these people in Puebla were battling against their pests, the rest of Mexico was not affected by this issue at all. So the fact that the US celebrates it like they fought the battle themselves is really stupid.
Feliz Cinco de Mayo!
If you want to celebrate any holiday, celebrate the 16th of September, Mexico's Independence Day, an honorary day where we celebrate something that affected the entire country, a rebellious war against the Spanish Empire to remove their political influences and have independence as a nation. A war that cost us the lives of millions and a sacrifice made to prove power for Mexico. And from that day, we Mexicans gather each year at our local venues to celebrate this victory, gathering around to cry,
Viva Mexico!
That one's good, amigo!
Mexico is a very influential country, with our culture, our traditions, our spectacles, legends, poems, foods, women, men, dogs, our history, and our music.
Oh, yeah! Yeah!
All of these things mentioned transcend Mexico's scope and are seen throughout many different interpretations by many different people from many different countries. But in this video, I want to narrow it down to video games and how over the years Mexico has been viewed through this medium. Now, this game's an interesting one. San Andreas was a cultural phenomenon when it came out, and it was insanely popular in Mexico particularly. Every arcade place, every computer cafe, people's phones, the consoles they stole from gentrified areas, it was everything for a lot of people for a very long time.
Growing up in Mexico, we didn't travel too much because the nearest city to us was like 3 hours away. But every once in a while, we'd go from our small town to the cities to go shopping in
segundas, secondhand stores, places where people go and would sell used things and make a living through it. There was stands with clothes, tools, rugs, hats, domestic electronics, technology, and my favorite place, video games. There was so many games at these places. It was a lot of games that nobody really cared for, and the good games were always pricey. But there was always this middle ground of games that were burned into blank discs with a paper covering of the character. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, half of these games weren't actually the original games. It was always in San Andreas. It was Sonic in GTA, Mario in GTA, Goku in GTA, Superman in GTA, Spider-Man in GTA, and there were always ripped game files that were overridden with mods and abilities that played into the respective characters. Obviously, this isn't a game about Mexican culture, but this game is part of Mexican culture because of how popular it was to find stuff like that in stores. San Andreas is special, not because it was a revolutionary game, not because it pushed the boundaries of open world and realism in video games, but because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to play the original San Andreas. I was only allowed to play it if Sonic was in it. One of my favorite interpretations of Mexican culture comes from Psychonauts, a game where you're an astronaut that goes into people's minds. And Raz, a young psychonaut, goes into the mind of Edgar Tigli, a man who is obsessed with his high school sweetheart, an obsession that made him lose himself. Edgar's character is inspired by Mexican culture. The black with fluorescent aesthetic of the world makes it feel like you're running around inside of a painting made by Edgar. The way it highlights the streets, the fountains, the clothes Raz wears, the enemies, everything is so beautiful to look at. There's a bull running around the streets, there's painter dogs with mariachi outfits, you have to fight luchadores in order to help Edgar build this giant tower of cards so he can reach his beautiful babe. All symbolically artistic and conditionally Mexican. It is an incredibly beautiful level with a great resolution and a rewarding ending, and it's one of my favorite artistic directions in gaming, period. I thank you, Tim Schafer, for giving us such a respectful and celebratory interpretation of Edgar Tigli's character. Also, Grim Fandango exists, but I gotta be honest, I haven't played it, so sorry. But it looks cool. I like the skeleton designs, I like the plot. That sounds pretty interesting. I like that it's set on the land of the dead. The voice acting seems pretty good.
You know I don't like to mingle with the customers.
Well, you may want to mingle with this one.
And I like the design of the main guy with a white suit and a bow tie. I kind of want to try it now. Wait, give me a second. It was a cool idea, but The puzzles made no sense. I followed a walkthrough and realized that I'm not even a fraction close of making any actual progress, so I just gave up. Cool looking game though. Then you got stuff like Guacamelee, a side-scroller with luchadores, Red Dead Redemption series with inclusions of Mexico in the first game and Javier's character in the second one, Call of Juarez, which I haven't played before, but every person in Mexico that owned a PlayStation owned this game, so that's something. Super Mario Odyssey has a section dedicated to Mexican traditions. The little skeletons with ponchos and sombreros, a town resembling traditional Mexican homes and colors, being able to dress Mario like this, and also Mario dances to Mexican music, which is kinda sick. Rayman Legends literally has one of the funnest Mexican level designs. The art direction is so entertaining to see. Pasteles, the skeleton enemies, the backgrounds, platforms, and environments being all food related, and the fact that you fight a huge luchador at the end, it's just awesome. Forza Horizon 5 is based in Mexico, mostly Guanajuato. And Viva Piñata is,
Can I interest you in something seedy? Oh, no, I don't mean like that.
What the fuck?
Okay, video's over. Here's the outro thing here. With that being said, the video is done. Talking about Mexico and video games has been fun. Hopefully this video was interesting and cool. Always do drugs and never go to school. That was a joke. That was a joke. You should go to school, and doing drugs will leave you drooling with saliva. It sucks. I've been Milli. Thank you for watching.